I am here to speak about entrepreneurship, how to get started. If you thought about starting your own business or your own sewing business, I'm going to try and give you guys some tips and some pointers what to do, what not to do, how to get set up, what to avoid, what not to avoid. I mean, not what not to avoid, but some things that you can do to make the transition smooth. If you're already in the business and you've already started business, then that should be fine as well. And you still find some of this stuff that I'm talking about relatable and useful. Okay. All right. So, what I'm going to start talking about, first of all, is the actual setup of your business. So when you first start your business, you either want to be a sole proprietor or you want to start a partnership, which is an LLC, which is a limited liability company. And let me tell you a little bit about the differences here. Me myself, I'm a sole proprietor, and I have been since 2001. So 2001 is when I took the plunge and went out and started my own business legitimately, and I've been an independent ever since. Um, so now, currently, in addition to me being an independent, I do work a part time job, and I'll explain that a little bit later down the road. If not today, then a little bit later on uh, in the seminar. So, to either today or on Wednesday. Okay, so um, the sole proprietorship is when you step out on your own and you're solely responsible, hence the word sole. You're solely responsible for your business. Usually, a sole proprietorship you can use for taxes your social security number, and then you may designate a name for your company, which is called a DBA. Doing business as. That's what DBA is. So you may be Carol Crocker Ware, but you may be doing business as CCW Consulting, which I do. Okay. So in order to set up your DBA or to set up my DBA, what I had to do, and what I'm sure is across the board, is I had to go to the county that I was living in, not the city, but the county. I had to go to the county, file. They give you a piece of paper with all the instructions of everything that you want to do or that you need to do. I had to file in a publication my name 3 times, and then after my name was published in the publication, then they file it with the county. Then you're able to get business cards, letterhead, or whatever, and you can start doing business under this name. You do not need an EIN number or a tax ID number. You can have one. I actually have one, but I was not selling goods. I was selling services. So there's a difference. Goods are things that you can hold, like fabric. So if I have to go buy fabric in bulk, or if I have to buy threads in bulk, or whatever in bulk to sell to people, then I had to have a tax ID number in order to claim some of my inventory at tax time and that kind of thing. Okay. So you can have an EIN, which is a employer ID number or a tax ID, and you can use your social security number. But me, since my business was just me and super small and I had no inventory, then I just use my social security number. Okay, so that's sole proprietorship. An LLC is a partnership. When you may want to go into business with a friend or a family member, there's a little bit more involved with the limited liability company because you have to file with the county and you also file with the federal government. The difference between a sole proprietorship and an LLC is in a sole proprietorship, if something goes wrong and you don't have any insurance, a person can take you to court and it can, be detrimental to your household because you're an individual, but you're not separate from your company. It's actually part of your living and your household and part of your expense or whatever you want to call it. An LLC is a limited liability. What it does in that case, if you were to be taken to court, it separates your household from your business. So your business is its own separate entity. So if somebody decides to sue your LLC, they can't come after your house and your husband and your child and all of that stuff because it's considered a separate entity. I'm doing a seminar right now, sweetheart. But anyway, okay, so there's the difference. Sole proprietorship, you are solely responsible for your business and anything that comes along to it that happens to it. An LLC is separate from your home, but it is your business. You and whoever you decide to go into business with as a partnership. So there is a limited liability. Well, limited liability, but limited means there is a limit on the amount that someone can sue for and what they can come after. But those kind of things you would have to find out from some research and from whoever your tax person would be or your lawyer. Now, in my case, in a sole proprietorship, because I am a technical person, my business is contracting. I'm a technical consultant. I'm a telecom engineer. So I actually go into commercial properties and fiddle with people's networks and install telephone systems and take down phone systems. So there is a liability. I can be hurt on the job because sometimes I'm on a ladder. I'm also a cabler. I pull cable, shoot cable. So there's a liability. So for that, I am a sole proprietor, but I carry insurance. So it is very important for me to carry insurance. I carry what's called general liability and E&O emissions. So my insurance protects me if I go on site and fall off the ladder, or if I go on site and trip over a plug and take down their whole network and ruin something. I have insurance that covers me for those damages. So when a company will, if they try and sue me, now I have my insurance to take up the slack. So being said, as a sole proprietor, if you decide to take on a sewing business, you can have yourself insured, but that's totally up to you. But I would think that it would be a good idea. And the reason why I had insurance, I have insurance as a technical person, I just explained why. But insurance as a sewing person is because I don't know how many of you all saw Judge Mathis and Judge Judy and all of them people with the dresses talking about this thing is horrendously ugly and I'm taking her to court. You should protect yourself from those kind of things as well. So when you first start up, though, you don't have to go get insurances, because if I'm just starting my sewing business and I haven't been sewing for 15 years, I'm not going to make anybody a wedding dress. That's just common sense to me. I'm going to wait until I'm a little bit more established, until I know my skills are to par. Then I can go ahead and take out a small insurance, because they have insurances that you would be able to afford as a sole proprietor. You can take out insurance and you can protect yourself. Okay. That is something that you definitely want to do research on when you're starting up. When you are setting up your sole proprietorship or you're setting up your LLC, look into insurance for your business. It's not going to be $1,000 a month. It does not cost as much as car insurance. Literally, my insurance is like $70 a month. So my whole insurance is like $300 and something a year, and it is tax deductible when you file your taxes. Okay, so those are the differences between sole proprietorship and LLC, limited liability. Let me give you a little bit of advice if you're deciding to go into business with a partner. Think about how you like them people. Think about how you love that person, because when you get into business, you are marrying your partner. You're going to be spending a lot of time with that person. You're going to be yelling and screaming and knocking it down and all that kind of stuff. Now, the difference with me and being a sole proprietor, I have gentlemen that I work with. I have other engineers that come on board with me whenever I have a big project. So I can take on a big project because I know like 4 people who are at my skill level and higher that I can bring on. I have to pay them a little bit more, but I can bring these guys on as individuals and then I can pay them as individuals. And when I'm done leading the project, when we're done, it's over. Our relationship is resolved for that job. There is no coming back. I didn't get to do this. Somebody went to lunch. I didn't have a cigarette. Ain't none of that. It's just, all right, thanks, guys. See y'all later. Call me if you got some work and you need some help. And that's it. Call me in the middle of the night if you get stuck on something. And that's it. But yeah, when they call in the middle of the night, they got to pay for that time. So that's generally how it works. If you are planning on going into a partnership with someone, please make sure that you love them and remember that business and pleasure don't mix. So when you go in the room with this person that is your friend, that you are going into business with, all the love and the past and that kind of history is left outside the door. And when we step in now, it is all about business. Okay. Please keep that in mind. That is very, very important. Okay. Now let's talk about fear. The fear of starting a business has a ton of people just shit faced. Okay. I myself didn't have the opportunity to do that because I was kind of backed into a corner. I almost had to start my business. I had lost my job and now the money was getting a little tight. So I had to figure out some way to do something to make a little extra money while I was at home. My husband was still going to work, but at the time he wasn't making a whole lot of money. When I got laid off of my job, I was making the most money. So it kind of hurt us. So I was like, well, maybe I can try this sewing thing. I can teach what I know and I can get paid under the table, so that's kind of how it started. I can see how it goes and I can see where it goes. So I taught a few classes on how to make pajama pants because that literally was my level. I know what my lane is. I didn't tell people, come on out to my bridal class because I made myself a dress and got a couple of compliments. No, I had mastered the pajama pant because I had made several pairs. So I said, okay, this I can teach. I couldn't teach anything else because I felt like I was not a master at it, and that's not what I could teach. I could also teach how to move around a sewing machine only because my technical background, I knew about small machines. Okay, but I wasn't trying to fix nobody's machine at the time. So let's talk about this fear. This fear is like literally all in your head. We have a fear when we're adults, we have a fear of failing and losing money. Or should I say losing money and then failing. When you start up your own business as a sole proprietor, you don't need a lot of money. Only thing you need are, okay, let's take this in perspective. When you start up a business, especially a sewing business, the only things you need are the things that you have that you're sewing with currently for yourself. If you can make a dress for yourself, you have enough tools and stuff to make a dress for somebody else if you're starting a sewing business. Okay. So you don't need to go out and buy that high power iron and all of that stuff. Let your business start working for you. And then you go out and you get that kind of stuff, or you go out and get that upgraded sewing machine. But work with what you have currently if you're thinking about starting a business, a sewing business for sure. So that way you don't have to worry about, upfront costs or extra money that you need to spend. I do, however, suggest that you do take an inventory of the stuff that you have. Such and such sewing foot. I got this thing that picks up needles when I drop them on the floor. I got this color thread. I got 4 spools of black thread. I have 2 spools of white thread. Keep yourself like an inventory. And then when that stuff starts going down, then you can take some of that money that you made from that first dress you sewed and you can replenish your inventory. So inventory the stuff that you already have and build from there. Okay. Don't worry about a business plan. A business plan is a wonderful thing if you're starting as corporation, but when you're a sole proprietor, you're running with an idea and a small plan. A business plan, you know what you want to do. So go ahead and write that down. I want to make dresses. You don't need a big stack business plan with demographics and all of that stuff. You know who's in your neighborhood. You know who your people are. Don't wait on a business plan to start your business. You can write the business plan as you run your business, but don't wait on a business plan to start your business because your plan is already in your head. You know what you want to start. You know what you want to do. You know the people that you want to, go forward with or go forward for. That's what you need to do. That'll take away some of the fear because some people think, I don't have a business plan. I don't have any money. You don't need either if you're starting your own sewing business. All you need is the stuff that you have that you've been making, your own self stuff. And then you just need a plan on what you're going to do. I'm going to make skirts. I'm going to make wedding dresses. I'm going to make pajama pants. I'm going to teach classes at Joanne. I'm going to teach classes at Hobby Lobby. Those are your ideas. That's your plan. Okay. Go with that. And then you can write down the other stuff later. Do a little bit of research on what's going in the neighborhood. How much of it are the cleaners charging? How much is the seamstress down the street? She's been a seamstress for 40 years. What's she charging? Find out what people are charging, and then you can work on a price point. You know what your skill level is. Don't go out and charge the same thing that I'm charging because I've been sewing for 20 years nonstop, and you've been sewing for 5 years. Our prices are going to be different. So when you run into people like me, don't charge what I charge because my work's going to be better than yours and I'm going to steal your customer. Yes, that's how business goes. So here's what you do, sole proprietor. When you run into me, who's been sewing a lot longer than you, that I've been in business a lot longer than you, build a relationship with me. Business is all about building relationships. And I had to learn that the hard way. In my telecom computer world, I had work snatched from me like that. Then I learned how to build relationships. And this is what I mean. When I went to the telephone guy that had been in business for 35 years, now I'm like, okay, I'm better at this than he is. He's better at this than I am. So when the person came to me and said, can you do such, such, and such? No, but John can. And here's his phone number. Give him a call. He'll help you out. So now guess what that does? That sets John up to send me business. Now we have a relationship and we're working together. Carol, can you hem my pants? I don't too much like to because I make men's suits. But Andrea hems pants. She does a wonderful job. Let me give you her number. She would be a little bit less than me anyway, but she does great work. So now when they say, Andrea, can you make my husband a suit? No, but I know Carol makes men's suits. Let me give you her number and you can give her a call. This is how you build relationships. Build relationships with people who do the same thing that you do. Go to the dry cleaner and tell your dry cleaner, I make custom clothing. I'll bring you my dresses. Don't iron them at home. Bring Miss Millie all the dresses that you made custom. Build a relationship with her. Let her dry clean your dresses and she'll send people to you. When people are at the dry cleaner, somebody's always asking, you know where I can get a prom just made? Girl, yeah. Sarah down the street, she sews, could sew her butt off. Go down to her and she'll make a prom just for you. It is so important as a sole proprietor that you build relationships. Build relationships with the people in your area so they can send you business and you can send them business. Because as a business, period, LLC, S Corp, blah, 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 blah. Nobody does everything. That's why there's Target and Walmart. That's why there's J.C. Penney and Macy's. Nobody does everything. There may be some things that you do similar, but somebody is going to do something better than the other person. So you have to acknowledge that when you are in business. Okay. Don't set yourself up so somebody can steal your business. Set up a relationship so that you can share the business. It's people all over the place. It's enough business to go around. You just have to know how to finagle it so that you can stay in business. Okay. Now, let me see. What else do I have here? Before you set off and start your business, it's a great idea to have at least 2 months rent, 2 months mortgage, or whatever set up before you start your business. If you have a part-time job, keep your part-time job. If you have a full-time job and you're ready to transition into a part-time job, have 2 months rent, 2 months mortgage in your bank for your security so you can still live in your house. I messed up. A mistake I made is I quit my job because I got all of these ideas in my head and people were telling me I'm so talented and you need to do this and you need to do that. And guess what? Though none of those people lived with me and I didn't consider that. When I quit my job, I pissed my husband off. So starting off for me was hard because I was so determined to prove him wrong. Don't make that same mistake that I made. Don't just up and quit your job and say, I'm going into business. People at the party love my outfit. I can sew. No, don't do that. Make sure you have some backup money in case it rains. And we all know as adults, when it rains, it pours. Okay. So have money saved, 2 months rent, 2 months mortgage. You can do it. You do it if you have to move. You can do it if you want to start your business. And the reason why I'm saying have a part-time job is because you still have some money coming in. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is when you make that transition, the hustle's going to kick in. I watched Mimi G's business shit about a week ago or so, and she was talking about motivation. I totally agree with her when she talks about motivation. When some people say, I'm not motivated for this, I'm not motivated for that. That's not motivation. Motivation is what you get when you get something good happening and you're ready to do it again. So you're like, oh yeah, okay, I could do that again. That's motivation. When you transition, you'll be so excited and ready to go. But in the back of your head, the hustle is real because you know you got to get up off your ass and make some money, or you got to go back to that 9 to 5 crap that you don't want to be dealing with. So you really have to keep in your head the hustle. The hustle is real when you're a sole proprietor, when you're a business owner. Some people say, I work all day, I work all night, I work all day, I work all night. I probably worked all day and all night, maybe the first year of my business, and that was because I was so stoked. Then I realized I was so tired. So I had to get disciplined. Okay. So now I'm moving on to the next thing. Not only are you going to be motivated, you're going to be motivated if it's going into your own business is what you really want to do. But you really have to be disciplined and you really have to be organized. If you're a person that's not organized, it's going to hit you at tax time. I would suggest that you practice your organizational skills. If you're not one of them people that's very organized, practice being organized before you set out on that business journey. And the way that you can practice is, start putting your clothes in some kind of order, put your shoes in certain types of boxes, rearrange your cabinets in alphabetical order, do whatever you need to do to get organized, because you're going to need to be organized in your business. Okay. You got to know where things are. You have to know what it is that you need. And the number one thing I talked about early on about being organized is inventory and the things that you have. And that was just some advice that I gave you. So you know what you run out of. You don't have to think about it. You're going to have 25,000 other things to think about. Now you got a list of things that you already have, and you know what you need in case they dwindle down or whatever. When you're doing your work and your hustle, the hustle means if you're in a sewing business, always go. I don't care if you got to go to the market and buy little Johnny a goldfish. Have on something you made. You're your best form of advertisement. If anybody has any question about what it is you're wearing, stand there and talk to them and then explain what you did. I don't know how many times I talked about my outfit. Learn how to talk about your outfit. Learn how to talk about what you're wearing. Learn how to talk about what you can make. That's what gets people out there. When you have one customer, treat them well, and they will tell two friends, and they will tell two friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. So word of mouth is always the best way to get your business out there. Okay. Definitely stay organized, because if you're a sole proprietor and you're starting a business, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be starting your business at home. So that means I can eat breakfast. I can watch a little Oprah. I can watch it. No, that's what I thought it meant. That's not what it meant. When you work at home, you need to have a designated space where you're going to sew, where you're going to do whatever, where you're going to do whatever. If you're going to be given private lessons, you're going to have your local fire department come in and inspect your area. They had to come in and inspect my room. And they want to know, is it easy for people to get out in case of any emergency? How's the electricity? How close is the bathroom? Is the bathroom close when people come? Those are things that the fire department will come and check, because they will inspect your house when you register your business with your local county and with your local municipality. So I live in a little bitty town called Glenwood, and I still had to register my business in Cook County, which is the county of Chicago, and also in Glenwood, because I'm at home doing business as a sewing business here in my home. So when people come to pick up prom dresses and all of that stuff, the reason that you have to do that is so Nosy Rosie that lives across the street is like, all of them people coming over her house. She must be selling drugs. So in order to avoid that, if your business is registered and the police or whatever, or the fire department has come out, when Nosy Rosie calls the police, they can say, ma'am, she's running a business across the street, which is legitimate. Thank you for your call. Have a nice day. And then they can hang up on her. Okay. So do that to protect yourself from your neighbors. It also protects your neighbors as well, because now they know that the cars and the traffic that you're getting in your house during the day is legitimate. So even that's definitely good if you're running a hair business out of your house. When you go to people's houses to get your hair done and that kind of thing, that's also to say the setup is the same. Okay. Here's a little side note. I found my license from 2010. That's actually when I stopped doing business. You ever go into somebody's business and there's $1 there? That's the first $1 that they receive from their business. So feel free to put your first $1 in your little business license. But when you get your business license, it has to be hanging. It has to be visible. So when people come in, they can see it and realize that you are a valid business. Got to have this showing. When the fire department came in to inspect my place years ago, I had my business license up so they also saw that I was a registered business and it didn't impose any fines. Okay. But I just keep that to remind myself when I stopped sewing for folk. Okay. Now I do not have a business license because I am a sole proprietor and I work outside of my house. So that business license for when I was sewing, I was working inside of my house. But no, as a contractor, I work outside of my house. So I didn't need a license for my house. Okay. So far, well, no, I'm not going to take any questions yet. If you have any questions, make sure you write them down so I can answer them for you. Um, Let me see what I'm looking at my little notes, making sure I don't do anything. Oh, when you start your business, I said you don't need a whole lot of money, but I suggest that you saved 2 months rent or 2 months mortgage to have if you're making a transition from a full-time job into your business. Make sure you have money. But if you're going to borrow money from somebody to get started, when you borrow money, make sure you pay it back, because the problem with someone borrowing money from you, or you borrowing money from somebody and you're starting up a business, the hustle is real and you're just starting the hustle. You may not have that money to pay them right away. Make sure that you set your goals, your guidelines for borrowing this money, when you're going to pay it back, how much you're going to pay it back, and write yourself a contract. You and that person sign it. And that is to protect the both of you. That contract will give you a little bit of motivation to pay this person back. And then that person will feel more secure in case, they know, well, if I take you to court, I have to take you to court. I have this written piece of paper. But my advice to you is keep the startup costs small. Don't borrow any money if you don't have to. Get yourself a receipt book. I had a receipt book. I had an old one. Maybe I gave it to someone. Get yourself a receipt book. Make a paper trail. Whenever you do a service for someone, perform any kind of service, whether they take a class from you, whether you make them something, whether you go visit them for a private lesson, give them a receipt when they give you cash. Then you'll have a paper trail of money received and services that have gone out. Make yourself, this is very important. Receipts are important. They sell receipt books at Best Buy, Walmart, wherever. You can get yourself a receipt book. Make yourself a spreadsheet of where you're traveling to. So you want a mileage spreadsheet. Make yourself a mileage spreadsheet. How long did it take me, or how far was Joanne from my house? How far was Textile Warehouse from my house? Did I take my client to lunch? Make yourself a spreadsheet of business travel. Are there tolls, mileage, tolls, entertainment? Entertainment means that you take them to lunch. Did you buy them something? This is all, how long did I spend with them? And when I did my consultation, were they over my house longer than an hour? All of that stuff adds up to money. Okay. So at tax time, Uncle Sam wants to know how many miles were on your car. How far did you drive for your business? Yeah, you may live 2 minutes from the fabric store, but if you go to the fabric store every day to pick up fabric, to pick up needful things and things that you need, that's stuff that you can actually write off on your taxes. Make yourself a spreadsheet and keep track of how far something is. Then this is where the kids and your friends come in. If they're whizzes on Excel or whatever, if you're a whiz, sit down and take your time and make your little spreadsheet. Okay, because you're going to need to keep track of all of this stuff. These are things that come up on your taxes at the end of the year when you file taxes as a sole proprietor or your LLC. Uncle Sam wants to know, you've been driving that truck? How often you've been using it for business? How far did you drive it for business? How many miles did you drive for business? Did you take your clients to lunch? Did you buy them a Christmas present? Did you do this? Did you do that? Make yourself a spreadsheet and keep track of that. Travel expenses, not flying to California. Well, if you fly to California to get fabric, I've done it before. So all of those things you need to keep track of. And those go on one spreadsheet so you can just keep track of it. And then at tax time, you'll be able to say, hey, I kept a record of everything that I did as far as me leaving the house. Okay. So what the government pays for is a trip to, say, for instance, you go to Joanne and then you come home. They'll pay for your mileage to Joanne. They don't pay for your mileage coming home. But if you go to Joanne, then Fine Fabrics, then so and so fabrics, and then home, they pay for your mileage for all of these other places that you visited. Okay. So you want to keep track of your mileage. It's very important because you're going to be using your car. And the government says you need some money back for the wear and tear on your car, for the gas that you spend, for the miles that you've traveled to do your business. And I actually do that now because I use my car for my job to get back and forth to different jobs and different contracts that I have to do. Okay. All right. Now, let me see. I said designate a space. If you don't have a laptop or a computer, mostly everybody does. Let's say you have a computer at home and it's shared. Maybe the kids use it, maybe your husband uses it. Make yourself a profile, put a password on it. Don't let anybody at your spreadsheets or your records that you're keeping for your business. And then make yourself a separate profile for you to surf the net, do shopping or whatever. Make your business profile and then create a profile for you to have fun with. Keep your business profile separate so when you log onto the computer, nothing's deleted, nothing's gone, nothing's moved around. Keep a track. But if you have your own laptop and your own computer, that's even better. Okay. Keeping track or an inventory, like I said, an inventory of the things that you use, your threads, needles, uh, also keep track of pens and pencils and how much paper are you using? How many letters are you writing to people? Are you emailing clients? Are you using your cell phone? That's what I said about being organized. You have to keep track of everything you do. And the reason why you have to keep track of everything you do is because the government is going to owe you money probably at the end of the year, or you may even owe them some, depending on how much business you do. Small businesses get audited a lot. You don't want to be looking for stuff at the last minute. Let me find these receipts. Lord have mercy. I don't know what I did with all my stuff. Keep it all together. So when the auditor cometh, you be like, here's everything. Right here. Take this. Get out of my house. Call me when y'all done. That's what you do when the auditor cometh. You have all your stuff in order. You can give it to them. And the only thing they need to call you is, what we just need to know is your middle initial A? Yes, it is. Because all the rest of my records are intact and everything is there. Bye. So make sure you keep accurate records because small businesses do get audited. I've been lucky. I have not been audited. I did think I was going to get an audit 2 years ago. I did a lot of business and I paid out a lot of guys on what's called 1099s. And I was a little nervous, but I had everything in order. I had everything intact and I didn't get an audit. So that was a good thing. A 1099, since I mentioned it, is this. Sometimes at a small business, let's say, for instance, Miss Mary and all her rich friends say, me and the girls, the Rich Women's Club, we want to hire you to decorate our living rooms for Thanksgiving. So you're like, oh, it's August? And how many women are in the group? So you be like, cha-ching, I think I can do this. So what you do is you don't have any employees. So you bring on 3 of your sewing friends. Listen, girls, if we get Miss Mary and her rich friends done by Thanksgiving, we can get paid. Here's what happens. You're now bringing your 3 friends on as contractors, not as employees. You're bringing them on as contractors, which means they are responsible for their own taxes. Only thing you're responsible for is paying them. So you're the lead now on Miss Mary's job. Miss Mary, I'm going to take this, shake her hand, meet her friends, have tea, socialize. And then you get out there and you have your 3 sewing friends over. You have them come over and you tell them the plan. You're going to do Miss Johnson's house. You're going to do Miss Jenny's house. You're going to do Sarah's house. And I'm going to do Miss Mary's house. We're going to all go to the fabric store and we're going to separate the time. Okay, so 1 hour at the fabric store with 4 people, that's 4 hours. Each person gets an hour. So we're going to charge 4 hours for the fabric store shopping and the consultation and blah, 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 blah. Then when Miss Mary and all her fabulous friends pay you, they're going to pay you because you're going to be the lead. You're going to be the person that they talk to. You're also going to be working, but you're going to be the person that they talk to. Okay, because it's your sole proprietorship. Your friends are there as contractors. They're going to give you the check. Then you take the check and you divide it up amongst your friends. Okay, Jenny, here's $600 for you. Here's $700 for you. You had a bigger house. Here's $800 for you. And then I keep the rest, however you divide it up. And then at the end of the year, you do what's called a 1099. 1099s are, here's how much money I paid you under my sole proprietorship. That's for you to file your taxes. That's for you to file your taxes. That's for you to file your taxes. So everybody gets a 1099, which means that they're individual contractors. They were there to help you. But you have, the only thing you did was pay them. They're responsible for their taxes. They're responsible for everything. Okay. So then you can pay your 4 friends the 1099 and you can say, bye, y'all, cha-ching. And that's it. But the 1099 is filed at tax time. You can get it from the IRS. They'll send it to you. And then you get one of your friends a copy. And then you send that in with your taxes and you're done. I do it all the time because I have guys help me with big jobs and I don't want any employees. Some people want employees. They want their business to grow that way. Not me. That's not my cup of tea. I like being an independent. Okay. All right. So there is a way that you can run a big job and not hire employees if you don't want to. Or, okay, so if you can find someone, friends, that you can get a big job and 1099 them out, you don't have to turn down work. Okay. So some people are like, man, I can't do all of this work by myself. Don't. Find people that'll help you, pay them well. And then at tax time, you give them a 1099 so they know that this was a valid, real job. You're going to get paid for it, but you're going to be responsible for the taxes on the money. Okay. So that's just a heads up for you guys. You don't have to turn down big jobs, but you got to be ready for them and have a plan. You got to have a plan when you accept a big job. Okay. So let's see. Office supplies, tools, working from home. We talked about working from home. Here's another thing that I want to touch on real quick about working from home. When you're a sole proprietor or you have a small business and you start off working from home or in the garage or whatever, my advice to you would be wake up in the morning, just like you did for your 9 to 5. Get a shower, get your clothes on, comb your hair, do whatever. And then when you retreat to your space, close the door. That lets everybody know on the other side of the door, business is in session. Don't bother me. I'm not coming out until lunchtime. Okay. I'm taking my phone calls. I'm doing my conferences. I'm doing whatever I need to do. I'll be out at noon. Take your hour lunch. Don't deprive yourself from your lunch. Don't feel like you gotta eat and I can't eat, I'm starving. No, don't do that. Work-life balance still matters when you are an independent contractor or when you are in an LLC or your own business. And a lot of people in their own business forget about work-life balance because you can work so much that it'll piss your husband off, it'll piss your kids off, and they'll hate everything that you do. You know how they say, don't surround yourself by negative people. But wait a minute, what about when the people in your house become negative? What you gonna do? You gonna go live outside? No. If the people in your house become negative, then you need to rethink what you're doing because obviously it's something that you're doing that's pissing them off. Been there, done that. So remember work-life balance. Yes, people who own their businesses, who own their own businesses, work all the time. Yes, but you better believe, trust and believe, there are times that we stop and eat and talk to our families, or we share an hour or two watching television. If you go back to work, they don't care. But as long as you spend some time with them, don't start doing a business and forget about your family. Okay. So when you get up in the morning, get dressed, put your clothes on, start doing business. Stop and eat lunch so you can function with a decent sugar level and make good decisions. And at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, cut it off, turn it off, step on the other side of the door, shut the door, go cook dinner, go eat dinner, go buy dinner, talk to your family, talk to your kids, do whatever you need to do. Now, if you want to start it up when they go to sleep, that's fine, but don't work way up into the night because you still have to go to work. Even though you're at home, you still got to get up and go to work. And you can't go to work tired. So if you're going to work after they go to sleep, cut it off after an hour or two and then take your ass to bed. Then when you get up in the morning, you can start over again fresh. Treat your working at home just like you would a 9 to 5. And when you do that, the people in your home will respect you for that. Whenever I have conference calls or things I have to do when I'm contracting from home, my husband does not bust in the room asking me for fried chicken and lunch. It's time to eat. No, because he knows that I'm working and we can't have all of that extra stuff going on in the background when I'm trying to make money or trying to tell somebody, well, here's what you need to do. Here's a plan that you need to do to keep your network running or to, we need 500 telephones and a system set up. I can't have all of that racket in the background. We need to be talking business. So the minute you start your work-life balance and you get your home functioning as a business, the people that live with you will respect that. And one thing I want to point out too is when you have people to your house for business, it don't matter what you do, hair, if you're a seamstress or contracting like me, sometimes I have to have people here. The places where you're going to have meetings or people are going to be, make sure it's clean and neat. And it ain't got to be stellar. Let me show y'all. See that fabric right there? It's kind of tossed in there, but I can close the curtain. So it keeps people focused and keeps people from looking around my room. When I used to have people in here, I had to keep things a little neat. I sweep the floor, make sure the bathroom's clean. You got to have people go in your bathroom to change clothes, and you want them to put on a prom dress or whatever it is that you made. They don't want to go in the bathroom, and the bathroom is nasty, and they're like, oh, what the hell is going on with this? And where's my dress going to be? Don't give people the satisfaction. Clean the bathroom, okay? Keep your office area neat and functional. If your office area is neat and functional, nobody will want to go in there because they know that business is there. That means there's money somewhere going around, and everybody know how much I make is not any of your business. So people may peek in there, but if they see that you have an office or a space designated as office, they'll stay away from that. And that's what they're supposed to do when they come to your home. When you have people come to your home for private lessons and fittings and things like that, make sure in your contract it states You're be on time. Please be on time. My husband likes to eat at 6 on the dot. If you arrive at 6 on the dot, you can't come in because now you're infringing on his time. Make those things very clear to people when you talk to them. Don't just say, I told you not to come here before 6 o'clock and blah blah blah, because that ruins relationships. I've seen a lot of stuff on social media, and that woman called me 25 times trying to come over my house, and I told her, when you're frank and clear with people, you don't have that problem. I've never had that problem. I don't have a problem with talking to people and telling them, when I need you over, I need you to come over with this day at this time. And my thing is, you get one chance. Ain't no three strikes. You get one chance. If it doesn't happen in that one chance, then me and you, we're not going to work together again. As an independent person or a business owner, you have the luxury of building relationships. You also have the luxury of deciding who you do and who you do not want to work with. Okay. Don't make decisions that'll knock your pockets off, but make wise decisions based on your experience. Use your past working experience as your experience and how people are going to be. When you know somebody ain't going to act right, then you know you don't need to do business with them. Put your big girl pants on. Learn how to say no. It's a hard thing, and it's easier said than done. And I know I say it a lot, but in the beginning, I didn't know how to say no. Learn how to say no before you get pissed off, because the first time you get pissed off, you're going to want to quit your business. You're going to want to quit your business every other day. But in the back of that head, you're like, no, I done started the hustle. I done did this. I done did that. It's all about sales. Being an entrepreneur is all about sales. You have to be able to sell yourself, sell your talent, sell yourself, and sell your talent. That's what it's all about. So the hustle is real. There's going to be a lot of times where you're going to want to quit because somebody pissed you off. You're going to want to quit because you're tired. I just don't feel like it. It'd be easier for me to get a job. There's going to be a lot of times that you're going to quit. So the last thing I want to say is find a mentor. If you can't find a mentor, surround yourself and speak with people who already own businesses, because they've been through it. They can help you with it, and they can give you some great advice. I have a friend who's an accountant in California. I remember one time I was doing a bar opening for a restaurant. It was like a little restaurant jazz bar. I mean, I sold curtains and tablecloths and place runners and chair covers, and I did the whole smash up for this place. This was her grand opening, and she was not there when I delivered her product. I thought I had everything labeled well so she could follow my instructions and putting things up and getting the room nice and everything. Well, when I went there to deliver the last of the chair covers, she had tablecloths nailed to the wall. She had table runners on the chairs. She had curtains on the tables. She had tablecloths on the windows. It was awful. And I had this vision in my head, and y'all know how we are as sewers. We get these visions in our head. And the visions of sugar plums was dancing in my head until I got to that place and people were sitting on my work. And I just froze. Then she had an attitude because she said I was late and the grand opening started and I could hardly talk because she had my tablecloths on the windows and table runners on the floors and everything was wrong. She didn't even have curtain rods. It was bad. So I gave her some money off. We agreed on a discount. She gave me the rest of my money. I got in the car and drove home. I had to pull over. I busted out crying. I was crying. I was crying. I was crying. I said, I'll never sew another thing for anybody as long as I live. This was a disaster. I had stayed up a couple days. So on top of all of that, I was crying. I was tired. So I called my friend that had been in business for 20 years and explained everything to him. And you know what he said to me? Did she pay you? Yeah, she paid me. She paid me the money and I got the money, but you should have seen the place. And then he said, did she pay you? Yeah, she paid me. She paid me some money. I got all my money in. Did you count it? And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, he's a numbers guy. Oh, he's worried about his money. I said, yeah. So he said, get yourself together. I wiped my eyes, got myself together, and he said, Carol, she paid you for that stuff. Yes. You did the work. Yes. You were satisfied with the work. Yes. She paid you. After she gave you money, that stuff was hers. If she want to boo-boo on it, but he said the other words, the boo-boo, that's her business, not yours. So guess what? If you make a prom dress and you slave over it for 55 hours and you charge $1,200, if she gives you $1,200 and she steps outside and cuts it up, that's on her. You keep the $1,200 and you tell her, okay, I'll see you next year. Don't be like me. Don't cry about that was spilt milk. I had totally forgot that this woman had paid me. She paid me for my services. She could do whatever she wants with that stuff. And so I learned how to start saying no or making things clear when I needed to do something, deliver something, talk about something, discuss something with a person. I made it clear. I made myself perfectly clear. You know how you guys say, we love the way you teach, because I make it perfectly clear. And if you don't understand it, I always say, if you have any questions or you need to ask me questions, feel free to hit me up on an email and I'll try and explain it to you. This is just from years and years of working with people and owning my own business and understanding communication and how to communicate. So with that said, it looks like I've covered pretty much everything here today about starting up and what is expected, what you should do in the beginning, and how you can start off to a successful entrepreneurial journey. On Wednesday, when I come back, I'll be talking about some things to expect and necessary things to have. Definitely, we need to cover that. So, what I want to say now is, does anybody have any questions? Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh no, that wasn't a question. That was a how do I question. I'm loving it, Carol. This is Nina. Hey, Nina from the Needle Nerds. Just thought we see it. Very informative. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome. You're welcome. Just kind of a little bit of background about myself that I've started. Some of you guys weren't here. Yes, I have a sewing group and I'm a part of a sewing group, but I had my sewing business for about 10 years. I am also a technical contractor, and I've been a tech contractor since 2001. And in that time, I did both. I did my sewing business and I did my contracting. Right now, I am a 100% sole proprietor contractor now, technical. If you say my computer's broke, I can come to your house and I can fix it. But I don't do individuals. I work on a commercial basis. So I go to businesses and I travel for businesses and that kind of thing. So that's actually what I do. And I've been on my own for quite some time. I do have a part-time job. And the reason why I have a part-time job is because there was a really a bad peak time where a lot of my friends that are tech contractors, they were like, I gotta get a job. It was like no work. There was no work out there for us. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna get a part-time job to offset some of this slow time because I just really wasn't about the hustle like I usually am. And I was like, you know what? I ain't trying to hire nobody. I just wanna, I'm getting into my formative years, so I'm trying to slow down a little bit. So I decided to get a part-time job, and it's the best thing I've ever done. I enjoy my part-time job because it's flexible whenever I have contract work, because of course I make more contracting than I do part-time. I can tell my boss, listen, I got a job on this day, and this day. Don't schedule me because I have another job. And I negotiated all of that stuff when we sat down in the interview. So I am, I guess, qualified to talk about being self-employed because I've been self-employed for a long time. And I just, I've gotten out of the whole realm of office politics and those kind of things. Sometimes I may be a little bit outspoken at work because my point of view is a little bit different than those who have been under the politic gun for such a long time. And they sometimes think it's a refreshing perspective, but everybody that I work with is younger than I am too. So um I can I try not to be a bully. And you guys are like, you a bully? Yeah, sometimes I can be a bully. But I just like to, share my wisdom and my knowledge. Just like with you guys, I like to share my sewing knowledge. And it's all about sharing with me because I've done pretty much the Watusi, the jerk, the cabbage patch, the twerk. So I just want to kind of share, how it was for me to get out there and how I felt and some things that some knowledge that I obtained. I just want to pass it on to you guys. All right. So, does anybody have any questions about the setup? This is always going to be here, so you guys can come back to the YouTube channel and rewatch if you need to. That's fine. Um, it's not going to go away. I'm just going to leave it up, and I'll put a header on uh, the actual YouTube post so you'll know exactly what it is you're watching. So today was about entrepreneurship, sole proprietor, and LLC, getting started and getting set up. Wednesday, I'll talk about what to expect, some definite necessary things that you need to have, and pretty much how it's going to go. And just, I'm going to leave you guys with this. When you start a business, the business is only going to be as successful as you want it to be. Only going to be as successful as you want it to be. And I say that to say, if you're lackadaisical, that's how your business is going to be. If it's sometimey, that's how your business is going to be. If you're a go-getter, that's how your business is going to be. So you don't have, it doesn't, I mean, how you run your business is totally up to you. It's totally up to you, not anybody else. You're going to get a lot of people whispering in your ear about, you should be doing this. You should be doing this. You should do this. And I'll do this for you. I mean, it should sound like this. Remember Charlie Brown? Wah, 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 wah. When people start telling me what I should be doing and what I need to do, don't listen to that. Listen to your own head. Listen to the devil and the angel on your shoulders, and listen to your spouse or your significant other. And that's if they're talking some good sense. Sometimes you don't even want to listen to them. Side note. So I just wanted to share that. And join me on Wednesday. I'll be here Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm going to be here earlier. So I'm probably going to do 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. I may even change Wednesday. And the only reason is because there's a party Wednesday and I ain't been out in a while. I went out yesterday for my birthday. Um, Tomorrow Wednesday? No, Thursday. So no. So Thursday. I'll be here on Thursday, not on Wednesday. So that's a good thing. I'm here. What's up? I'm done, Antoinette. All right. So that's about it. I am finished. Thank you for joining me. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. That's the other day that I had set up. And leave me a question. If you have any questions, help, I'll be glad to help. Even if it has anything to do with, okay, I've started my business and I've run into this, and what can I do to, get things back in order, blah, 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 blah. I've pretty much done it all. So, all right, you guys, I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for joining me. And I'm actually getting ready to start sewing. So if you guys have questions, I'll be right here to answer them right now. Okie dokie. Catch the replay. Thank you, Vicky. I had a wonderful birthday yesterday, and I'm actually getting ready to go on Facebook and a couple of other things, and say thank you for all of the birthday wishes from yesterday. All right, you guys. I will talk to y'all Thursday. Bye. Okay, so how do I end this?